What is the problem of Nigeria? Today, I'm going to show you a new revelation about the problem of Nigeria that you have not heard of before. It's staring you in the face, but I can assure you, you have not seen the problem of Nigeria. Today, I'm going to show you a new revelation about the problem of Nigeria that you have not heard of before. It's staring you in the face, but I can assure you, you have not heard of it before. The problem of Nigeria that we really should be solving. Right now, most people are busy talking about corruption. And yes, corruption is bad. Corruption is a horrible thing. But is corruption the problem of Nigeria? Is corruption the problem of Nigeria? I'm asking you now. Is corruption the problem of Nigeria? If you think corruption is the problem of Nigeria, let me know. Let's even see how many people believe that corruption is the problem of Nigeria. Some people think that the problem of Nigeria is the constitution of Nigeria. In fact, very high-level persons think that the problem of Nigeria is the constitution of Nigeria. They say the constitution that started we, the people of Nigeria, actually was not made by we, the people, that all of us did not come together to discuss terms and conditions or agreements for us to exist together before the constitution was made. So therefore, the constitution is our problem. What do you think? Do you think that the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the problem of Nigeria? Some people think that the problem of Nigeria is marginalization. Or in fact, they believe that the problem of Nigeria is the marginalization of the Southeast, the marginalization of the Igbos, Biafra. Of course, that's what gave birth to this whole IPOB, MASOB, and all these Biafran nation talk, or this talk of secession. Some people think the Igbos are marginalized, so the problem is marginalization. Some other people think that the Yorubas are marginalized, so the problem is marginalization. So I want to know, where do you stand? Do you agree that marginalization is a problem of Nigeria? Your honest opinion. Because we need to diagnose the problem of Nigeria properly. If we don't diagnose the problem of Nigeria properly, we will continue in the problems. The unemployment, the insecurity, the poverty, the sickness, the looting, the corruption, all of that will continue if we do not correctly identify the problem. The marginalization, everything will continue. So we have mentioned how many likely problems now. We started with corruption, we talked about constitution, and then we have talked about marginalization. Some people think that the problem of Nigeria is actually Islamization. Oh, there is an agenda to Islamize Nigeria. And because of that, they have birthed all these various groups that are terrorizing the country. But is the problem really Islamization? Think about it. Don't forget, we want to correctly diagnose Nigeria. Because every diagnosis, and I say this with every sense of seriousness, not to cast aspersion on anybody, not to pull down anybody. I say this with every sense of seriousness. The problem of Nigeria has been misdiagnosed to date. And that is why the solutions that have been applied have always been a wrong solution. So if we're going to start to solve the problem of Nigeria correctly, we have to start by diagnosing it rightly. And that's why it's important, it's imperative that you and I come together, put our heads together, and correctly identify what the problem is. Is it corruption? Is it the constitution? Is it marginalization? What is the problem of Nigeria? Is it Islamization? Oh, this was a thing way back when you had Buhari as president of Nigeria. Now you have a Tinubu that seems to be pushing all the not even just Yoruba now, the Lagos boys forward, you know, so it's Lagosization, or you can say Yorubalization of Nigeria. Is that the agenda? Is it Islamization? Is it Fulanization? Which of it is a problem in Nigeria? So many. Some people think that it is religious. The problem of Nigeria is religious. Many people think the problem of Nigeria is religious. Is the problem of Nigeria religion? Is religion a problem in Nigeria? Let me know, because we're rubbing minds now. We are sharing ideas because nobody knows it all. What exactly is the problem of Nigeria? Now, whatever your thoughts are, I'm going to share mine with you. And I'm going to share with you a revelation that I just got about what the problem of Nigeria is. The problem of Nigeria, in my opinion, not in my opinion now, in a revelation that was given to me. In a revelation that was given to me, was crystal clear. I embarked on a journey to actually correctly identify the problem of Nigeria, and I was given this revelation. The source of it I will disclose to you shortly. The revelation that was given to me indicates that the problem of Nigeria has been wrongly diagnosed. And what people see as the problem of Nigeria is actually the symptoms of the problem of Nigeria. So the first revelation that I got was that what people are seeing as the problem of Nigeria is actually the symptoms of the problem of Nigeria. So what does that mean? In the revelation that I got, the constitution that many people think is a problem is actually a symptom of the problem of Nigeria. Islamization that many people think is the problem of Nigeria is actually a symptom of the problem of Nigeria. Corruption that many people see as a problem of Nigeria is actually a symptom of the problem of Nigeria. Marginalization that many people see as a problem of Nigeria is actually a symptom of the problem of Nigeria. Religion, ethnicity, tribalization of Nigeria, they are all symptoms of the problem of Nigeria. And you know how it is. When you treat symptoms, you actually end up mistreating or making the problem even worse. So for you to correctly solve or treat a sickness, you have to diagnose it correctly. And the journey to diagnosing the right problem of Nigeria is what we are on now. And by the end of this short session that we're going to have together, you would have correctly identified the problem of Nigeria and how that problem works, so that you will understand the symptoms and know how to treat and apply the right treatment. That's what we want. We want a Nigeria that works for everybody, where there are jobs, where there is security, where there is peace and tranquility, where there is unity. That's the kind of Nigeria we want. If Nigeria is working and there is job everywhere, nobody will bother about whether there is Islamization or whether there is corruption. So far as everybody has food to eat, everybody has job to go to, they have work to do to earn money, anybody is free to aspire to any position they want, the electoral process is free and fair. Once we have all of those, if there are industries in the southeast, industries in the north, industries in the south, industries in the southwest, northeast, north central, if there is job for everybody and everybody is well paid, if you want to live a good life, it's easy, we are living a good life, nobody will be talking about whether there is corruption, Islamization, nobody will be talking about that. So the problem that we see or that we think is the problem of Nigeria is actually just the symptoms of the problem. You know how, like, somebody has malaria and the person is showing symptoms, high fever. You know, if somebody has toothache, the person will show symptoms, high fever. So if you look at high fever and you say, oh, once you have high fever, give them paracetamol, you'll be mistreating the problem because you have misdiagnosed. So you need to get down, do tests to identify what exactly is the problem before you can prescribe the right solution. You cannot just look at the symptoms. to prescribe the right solution. What we see as problems in Nigeria are actually the symptoms of the problem. So marginalization is a symptom of the problem. Islamization is a symptom of the problem. Corruption is a symptom of the problem. The Constitution is a symptom of the problem. So what exactly is the problem? The problem is a virus. And this virus, I call it the colonial virus disease mutation 3. Colonial virus disease mutation 3. Underline this word. It's a very important word. Once Nigeria and Nigerians understand what the meaning of this colonial virus disease mutation 3 means, we'll find it easy to apply the right solutions, and we will solve all the problems in Nigeria within 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. Within 6 months, if we understand how this KVDM3, colonial virus disease mutation 3, if you understand how colonial virus disease mutation 3 really works, in 6 months, all the problems in Nigeria will be solved. And I'm not joking. So it is very, very critical that we understand what the colonial virus disease mutation 3 is and how it works. You're already seeing the symptoms. The symptoms are the things that we are calling the problems with Nigeria. The symptoms are corruption, marginalization, Islamization, the Constitution, religion, tribalization, all of those shunts. Those are the symptoms. They are not the problem. The problem, are the root of the problem. What is causing the problem with Nigeria? What is causing the sickness of Nigeria is this colonial virus disease mutation 3. That's what is causing the sickness that Nigeria is seeking right now. And the symptoms are the things that we see in terms of corruption, marginalization, the Constitution. These are a symptom, they're a reflection of this problem. So if these are symptoms of the problem, all the suffering, the hardship, the insecurity, they are symptoms, yeah, what is the root cause? Colonial virus disease mutation 3. If Nigeria wants to create jobs, if Nigeria wants to solve insecurity, if Nigeria wants to wipe out poverty, if Nigeria wants to create a better life for every citizen of Nigeria, if Nigeria wants to become #1 in the world, better than Dubai, better than America, better than Europe, better than China, if Nigeria wants to really develop, remove the so-called 133 million Nigerians that are living in multi-dimensional poverty. If you want to take them out of poverty and take them into riches, then we must deal with this colonial virus disease mutation 3. I call it KVDM3 or COVID-M3. COVID-M3. Nigeria needs to solve it. It is imperative. Now, what is this COVID-M3? COVID-M3 is a virus, is a system that was put in place to destroy the defenses of Nigeria economically, politically, socially, mentally, destroy the weakness of Nigeria by appealing to the greed in Nigerians, to divide us into a group of two, rich and the poor, so that at the end of the day, the riches and the resources of Nigeria will be flowing to the colonial masters. That's the whole essence of this COVID-M3 virus. Colonial virus disease mutation 3. It's mutation 3 because there was a mutation 1, and mutation 1 was slavery. Mutation 2 was colonization. Mutation 3 is this COVID M3. That is at the heart of it. You talk about corruption, it is COVID M3 that created corruption, because it intends to use corruption to access our resources and also to keep us poor. You talk of the Constitution. The Constitution grew out of this COVID M3. COVID M3 gave us the Constitution that we have now so that they can use it to make sure that our resources continue to flow to them and Nigerians are kept poor. You talk of Islamization. Islamization agenda was born out of this COVID M3 because they want to use that agenda deceptively to make sure that our resources continue to flow to them, at the same time keeping Nigerians poor. Marginalization, the whole idea of marginalization is done in such a way that it ensures that the resources of Nigeria goes to the Western powers, and at the same time keeping Nigerians poor. I will explain all of these things so that to be clearer to you how dangerous this COVID M3 virus is to Nigeria and indeed to Africa. But let's focus on Nigeria for now. The COVID M3 virus is a dangerous virus. It is there like HIV/AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. You don't even know it's there. It's there quietly breaking down your defenses until the person is completely destroyed. That's what COVID M3 is doing to Nigeria, is doing to Africa. Now that we know that the problem of Nigeria is COVID M3 and that all the things that we thought were the problems were just symptoms, how does this COVID M3 operate and how do we cure it? How does this COVID M3 operate and how do we cure it? It's very important. Because if we don't know how it operates, we cannot apply the right treatment. And if we don't treat it and cure it successfully, we'll continue to remain in the problems that we are. We'll continue to keep shouting, oh, there are no jobs, there's unemployment, oh, our leaders are corrupt, oh, the constitution is evil, oh, this, that, oh, there's Islamization, there's marginalization. We'll keep shouting all of these things unless we treat this virus. In order to understand what this virus is, we need to understand where did the virus come from. This COVID M3 came from somewhere. It was created by someone or something. Where did it come from? We need to understand where it came from, because that will help us better understand how it works, and then help us to treat it so that Nigeria can be free. The problem of Nigeria, which this COVID M3 seeks to entrench, is lack of development. And this is brought about by lack of industrialization. What Nigeria needs to solve all the problem of Nigeria is rapid industrialization. And the people that brought this virus to infect us, they know it, that the problem of Nigeria is rapid industrialization. And they don't want us to rapidly industrialize. So that's why they brought this virus to us. And this virus is a complex virus. It's a virus that affects every sector, just like HIV. Affects every part of the human being. The human being has about 9 systems: the digestive system, the reproductive system, the response system, the irritability, the nervous system. As HIV affects all the system, that is how this COVID M3 virus affects every aspect of the Nigerian state. Every aspect. It affects education, it affects entertainment, it affects religion, it affects security, it affects everything, this COVID M3. It's a dangerous virus. And Nigeria needs to cure it. And like I said, for us to cure it, we need to know where it came from. Where did it come from? It came from the IMF and the World Bank. Or rather, to be more accurately put, it came from the people who created the IMF and the World Bank and the World Trade Organization and every ancillary organization that is affiliated with these people. this COVID M3 virus that is destroying Nigeria, that is responsible for all the symptoms that we are seeing, all the visible traumatic problem that we're seeing, this COVID M3 came from the people that created the World Bank and the IMF and the World Trade Organization. In fact, they created the World Bank to create this virus. They created the IMF to create this virus. They created the World Trade Organization to create this virus. The virus is a system. It's a complex system that works almost silently behind the scene. People do not even know that it is there. They are busy, focused on other things when the problem is there, eating them in the nyash. The COVID M3 virus came from the people who created the World Bank, the IMF, the World Trade Organization. Who created this organization? Who created these Bretton Woods institutions? The United States of America. In fact, they used this Bretton Woods institution to steal Europe. Initially, Europe actually colonized the world. Yes. But right now, America, that was initially colonized by the French, the Spanish, and the British, is now colonizing the Europe. If you don't know it now. America owns Europe now. And they use this Bretton Woods institution to achieve that goal. And after stealing Europe, they have set their minds on Africa. And they have set their minds on Nigeria. And there's a virus, there's a tool, there's a weapon, a great weapon in their arsenal. The ultimate weapon in their arsenal is this COVID M3 virus. It came from them, and they did it deliberately. Just like when they brought HIV/AIDS, they brought it deliberately to decimate our population. The same thing is happening here now with this COVID M3 virus. We need to understand how it works if Nigeria is to be free. And to understand how it works, we need to know where it came from. And now I just told you. Now, how does it work? The COVID divide them by making sure they are fighting each other. And while they are fighting each other, they conquer. They come in, take our...
The best place for creators to make money in the creator economy is Kajabi.
On what you asked about the opinion movement, quite frankly, is something I did say during the election, after the election, that we are going to now form a proper movement that is properly articulated. And luckily, this is allowed engagement globally, where you can have a group that has formed themselves into a bloc while being part of a party process. As you know, most people who are obedient are not even members of Labour Party. I can tell you that we have more people who are non-party members who believe in what we're doing. And that is why I always tell people, let's continue on our process. I was in a gathering today, and I was in church today. I would say that 70% of the people that greeted me don't even know what is called political party. So I agree with you. That is the issue where you're going to see what will be happening in the nearest future. That's where I'll leave it. For me, this is not a question. This is a suggestion that all of us will have to work hard on. Because like I said, it is important that you know that it's not everything that is question. I'm also learning, like you people are learning. I'm also listening to you. I want some of you also to tell me what to do. What you ask now is critical. Is there something that we'll all engage in? I've taken note of it. We must now ensure that issue of what they said last time is not, they have an option, should no longer be an option. And it will be followed. That's what I'll say on this one. I'll prioritize number one, education, because we must put the people out of poverty. And it starts with education of the people. We pull the 20 million young people that are today out of school. We make sure we put the resources for them to go back to school. I'll prioritize health because we have people dying today because of no health facility. We have overtaken India in infant mortality. Mothers and children are dying, and it's worse in the north because of non-availability of community health facilities. I'll prioritize pulling people out of poverty. This is where we require to put in our resources. For me, we're not going to stop Hajj or pilgrimage, but we're going to direct resources to where it is needed, while again ensure that those who can afford go on pilgrimage, if they desire and remain prayerful. That is the way I will go. I don't know how much government is spending on issue of Hajj or pilgrimage, but I've told you areas where I prioritize. I will not put 5 billion in education and put 100, which is what you're saying, 90 in Hajj. Because what you have not said now is that 5% of scholarship for university education is what we're using for this. I'll follow it up. Thank you.
I am asking Mr. President, if it will not be good, you have a platform, you have loyal obedience across the world, tens of millions of honest and committed Nigerians who are committed to the visions that you embody. For you to set up what we call PO alternative actions to eradication of poverty, where we can drive up collective funding and do critical private sector intervention to set up agro clusters across Nigeria under the obedient movement, create jobs for Nigerians, provide direction so that when they see what we are doing from the private sector, they will be forced to take action from the government sector. I think that should be a good direction, sir. PO actions, active actions for eradication of poverty, private sector-led interventions on key critical agro clusters in Nigeria. The obedience will support it, and we will see the impact in Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Well, what you suggested now is very good and can work in any other normal country, but not Nigeria. If just doing a Twitter space is being attacked, imagine what they'll do when you start with obedient agriculture to show them an example of what you can do. People have been given job, nominated for appointments, and somebody writes that they think they voted for P2B. They cancel the appointments. Imagine what they're doing to me as a human being. So imagine what they will do if you have such facility. It won't work. If I said it, let me say it again. I said it in my last house. If I tell you what I'm going through in hands of government, you'll be asking me, why are you not on the streets shouting? However, it's not a problem. If you choose to serve, you must be ready for certain measure of problems. So it will be tough. It's a very good idea that we can use whenever we have opportunity to ensure that all our vast of cultivated land, something happens. I told you that I said it everywhere I went to campaign. Now, if I had won the election, declared that I won the election, the next election, and I say categorically, the next election must, diaspora will vote. If they can vote in Kenya, if they can vote in other African Ghana, they can vote in Nigeria. There's nothing wrong in that. It's a very easy thing. The reason why it's not happening in Nigeria is because they know if we vote honestly, and that's why it's not happening. There's no reason why today, in today's world, Nigerians in diaspora cannot vote. Besides, it's critical. You now we now earn more money from diaspora remittances than we get from oil. So there's no reason why you should not vote. But I keep saying the country is being driven by drivers that have since passed their destination. If I'm involved, it must happen. Thank you.
Good evening, my president, His Excellency Peter Gregory Ayanfe Olodumare Obi.
Now, just a few months ago, the Labour Party was sitting on top of the political pile in Nigeria, loved and respected by many for its integrity and the hope of a brighter future that it offered Nigerians. To this day, some believe that its presidential candidate, Peter Obi, won the 2023 presidential election, but was thwarted by an entrenched system that wasn't ready for that kind of change. Many looked up to the Labour Party, a party that wasn't afraid to stand up against corruption and bad governance, a party that would perhaps one day lead Nigerians to the promised land. Today, though, that trust appears to have gone up in flames, and the Labour Party is looking like just another disheveled Nigerian political party filled with rusting, untrusted politicians. Well, that's life in the Nigerian political landscape, isn't it? But it's even worse. The party has had to go into some form of administrative receivership as a way.
My apologies. This was a wrong video. I needed to put this on. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. This is going to be a short one. Hopefully. Let's see how it goes.
The crisis in the Labour Party seems unending as some members are accusing the national chairman, Mr. Julius Abure, and the national president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, of allowing their differences get in the way of their responsibilities to the working class. The group under the umbrella of the Lagos Assembly of Veterans and Trade Unionists said that Abure and Ajero have expended time and energy on who will control the party. The group demanded the immediate resignation of Abure and Ajero for failing in their mandate. How does the party intend to move away from this crisis? Is there any solution? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Ikenna Azomchine. He is a former governorship aspirant in Anambra State and also the obedient general of Nigeria. Thank you for coming to the studio. How are you today?
Thank you, madam. I'm glad to be here in your studio in Abuja.
Wonderful. So, the Labour Party, a lot has been happening of recent, and everyone has been watching. From what we see so far, can we say that the Labour Party is on its way into oblivion?
Well, from the obedient perspective, I must be very honest because I'm obedient. I cannot speak for the Labour Party, but I think that the Labour Party must tread with caution because the coming of Peter Obi has skyrocketed the ability of the Labour Party to be a formidable opposition in Nigeria, and they shouldn't play with that. You have 6 million obedience plus myself, and many more who are waiting to be directed by Labour Party. So we are worried, and that's why people like me are speaking out. The NLC and the Labour Party must respect the agreements they signed. They must make sure that a proper convention is organized from the ward level to the state level to the federal level, and it must be given within the appropriate time. You cannot, conduct a convention like a mushroom party.
Well, talking about the convention, they already had it in Anambra State. And you're calling, not only you, I think some other people have also called for another convention. How is that going to pan out? Are you saying the officials that were elected during that convention, that their positions are null and void?
7 members of the NWC, does that constitute a credible convention at Newi? Where are the facilities? I was a member of the National Convention Planning Committee of the PDP severally. Convention is a time for the party loyalists to be given time to converge, to embrace each other, to showcase the power of the party. You cannot, for example, they shifted venues in less than a week 3 times. This shows that these guys are jokers.
Well, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, he's been also quite vocal about this. He was speaking some days ago, and he said something very revealing, or made some revealing remarks. And I quote, let me quote him. He said, "When you go into a city, try to change them, live with them, fast with them. In the end, you can't come out and even wash the sand that is in your shoes." That's quite damning. Does that tell us where Mr. Peter Obi is headed?
I don't speak for His Excellency Peter Obi, but I can tell you that Peter Obi is in a very difficult position at this moment. It's difficult for you to know what path to take when people you normally should believe in their ability to do the right thing. I don't know who is really fueling what is going on in Labour Party. Peter Obi at this level, every Nigerian should sympathize with him. That man has done a great work of assembling all of us. I mean, I'm not going to sit here in your channel's television to tell you what happened in the 2023 elections. People like us, we are organic. We came on board with our monies, with our time, with our life. It's an organic movement. And Peter Obi has been a wonderful leader till now. Look, we are not giving up on the new Nigeria. That's why I'm here. I'm not speaking for the Labour Party. Obedience are in every political party, even in the APC. It will shock you that there are more obedience there. And we are just waiting for any little opportunity we will have to be able to mobilize this movement that nobody will ever imagine what will happen in 2027. We don't want to speculate, but
right.
We are positive.
Right. Yes, you say that you are not very much interested in the Labour Party, but the Labour Party still gave the obedient movement a platform last year on which to run the presidential election. So it's still an important party. So at this point, what are your expectations from the Labour Party? Do you think that this crisis that is going on will be resolved at all?
Sure. What we expect from the Labour Party is to go back to the drawing board, conduct an all-inclusive convention that is the norm, and everything will fall in place. And I'm sure His Excellency Peter Obi will not accept anything that is below a proper convention. But don't draw me too much in the Labour Party. Like I said, obedience are in all political parties. We're just looking at our principle, his body language and all whatnot. Obedience, we are more than 12 million obedience that are currently active. And we are not, we will not be pulled into the Labour Party brouhaha. We are consolidating and taking the message to the Nigerian people that, look, you are not buying bread cheaper than anybody. Being a Christian or a Muslim does not bring food on your table. So we Nigerians, we must wake up, hold our leaders accountable. Look, I was just coming into Abuja. I stood on the traffic for hours. What stops a tram from running from Kefi to Abuja? People like you can even live in Jos and go to work. So we have to leave political parties alone and go straight to who is going to give us the dividends of democracy.
I understand what you're saying. At the same time, you still need a party to run for election. Nigeria is not that advanced at the stage where an independent candidate can strike it on its own. It still needs a vehicle to get to power.
I don't like that word of Nigeria is not advanced. Can I tell you?
No, politically, in terms of running for
Who
office,
will
do you
advance
think?
it? Who will
Hold on.
advance it?
Do you think that if in 2027 Mr. Peter Obi decides to run as an independent candidate, do you think he can do that?
Sure. We just need the constitution to be amended, probably to create a room for an independent candidate. But let me tell you something. The problem of Nigeria is not our leaders, it's we, me and you. That's what I see. We have to forget about political parties and look at the individuals concerned. Who will give us the leadership that we are looking for? I am here now because of Iftar. The obedient Muslims are fasting. So a whole lot of them I met during the obedient campaign called on me. Look, we can't even afford food. So we've mobilized the little we can to visit the villages. You know, for me, I'm a low key, I believe in the lowest people in the society. These are the guys who are suffering, if you understand me. The Labour Party issues, I'm sure His Excellency Peter Obi is on top of the matter, and I'm sure a very, very all-inclusive convention will soon be in the pipeline if they want to do the right thing.
Obviously, you're a passionate follower of Mr. Peter Obi, and some have argued that, yes, he's become a phenomenon, not only in Nigeria, but in the whole of Africa. And a lot of people are watching him. At the same time, everybody that is a political leader needs to be involved in building the party that they would use to get to power. He's seen as someone who is almost like a one-man squad. How would you respond to that?
Well, it's safer to be a one-man squad. If you allow them to pull you into the political party politics, you might end up losing a base. I think he's a very smart man. He's playing with the rules of he's not corrupt. He's not ready to go into the intrigues of political party. Let me tell you, if Peter Obi will fall into the Labour Party crisis, you will hear names calling. He wouldn't want to be called names. I know the dangers of him not talking. So he should better stay calm. We obedience will talk for him. I'm not speaking for Peter Obi, but I know the troubles of Labour Party. Abure has to decide to obey the constitution of NLC, the agreement of NLC. Let me shock you. The Labour Party has written to INEC now that the original certificate of Labour Party is missing. So, and they've been issued a new one. So why would INEC reject their convention and then at the same time giving them a new certificate of, what's going on? Somebody is really pinching on the structure that is threatening 2027, and we all know where that is headed, and we have to just allow things fall out.
The Director General of the Obidati 2023 presidential election, Mr. Aki Oshuntoku, has also spoken about this. And to him, he said that the Labour Party is behaving like other political parties in Nigeria. And so that implies that he and the Labour movement thought that they were coming to a party that will be different from the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress. Is this a fair assessment of what is going on?
Well, we know that the Labour Party is a beautiful bride. And when you marry a beautiful woman, you have to make sure you have what it takes to keep her. So we are not unaware of those intruders that are ready to, reduce the strength of the Labour Party. But we are confident that we will get out of this.
You're confident that another national convention and congresses will hold?
There must be a solution. His Excellency is capable.
If that does not occur, what's the next steps?
Well,
or what are the next steps?
Mr. Peter Obi knows the answer.
Mr. Peter Obi knows the answer. For you as an obedient, what would you like to see? Because you're very much invested in this entire journey of trying to create a new Nigeria.
The new Nigeria has no party. Anywhere the leader goes, we follow.
A new Nigeria has no party.
Yes.
So
There's no party.
you're confident that in 2027, even without a party, the obedient movement.
There will be a party.
Okay.
There will be a party. Just allow the movement to, I mean, we are hoping and we are praying that we will fly the Labour Party ticket. If our leader moves anywhere, we'll follow. The obedient movement is what we're consolidating. We are moving around telling Nigerians, look, you are now buying bread for how much? You're buying fuel for how much? Let's forget about party politics and concentrate on Nigerians. The new Nigeria is what we are looking for. And we can only get it through a leader like Peter Obi.
You see, apart from the political party, so now in Labour, there is the Lamidi Apapa faction, there is the Julius Abure faction, and then there is the Joe Ajero faction. Yes, it is a party that they are trying to, take control of. And you say that it's not important. But even if you go with the obedient movement and set up another, a congregate, there is always tussle among people when people are fighting for power. You do not think that if you come up with your own institutional organization, we will see similarly what's happening within the Labour Party occur there?
I think the Labour Party issue is not an unsolvable issue. It is solvable, and I'm sure our principal is on top of the matter. We obedience, we are not allowing anybody to distract us in the pursuit of the new Nigeria, like I just told you. I've just traveled to Bauchi and Jos to meet the obedience who are fasting. We are concerned about the Nigerian people that are suffering right about now. We are not, you see, Labour Party knows what to do. Abure and Co knows what to do. These are just, you cannot move around Nigeria talking about the new Nigeria, telling people that Labour Party is taking a very dangerous step at this moment, because the whole country is looking at Labour Party to be the formidable opposition. And don't be surprised that there are some big ants on the side that are looking for the collapse of the Labour Party. And I advise them to trade with caution.
I like that you're very, gung-ho about the movement rather than the party, because it is the people that own the country. It is the people that will eventually lead the way and direct their leaders. With this in mind, you're confident that a new Nigeria is possible. How soon do you see that new Nigeria that you yearn for?
Can I tell you why I'm confident? In the early 90s, when I migrated to Belgium, I met people from Rwanda, people from all over the world that migrated, also due to instability in their own countries. Those countries are now stable. And when you talk to them, they will tell you, hold your leaders accountable. Go there, don't shy away. Insist that the political class gives you the dividends of democracy. And that's why a whole lot of us in diaspora, we have decided that we are not going to keep quiet. When you fly to London, for example, when you are landing, you see the beautiful environment, you see light everywhere. They also travel, they see it. We insist that the Nigerian people are giving the same. And we are not going to allow them, whatever games they want to play to bring down Labour Party, we are not going to be part of it. We insist that the Nigerian people are awake. They have to get up and take over their country. They must take over their country. We are not going to, continue to allow the giant of Africa that we know, even abroad, they tell us you are from Nigeria. What are you doing here? When you answer this question for 25, 30 years, then you have to wake up.
Okay. Ikenna Zomchine, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Greetings, everyone. Kene, how now? Welcome. Oriyomi, you said the cracks in the wall gives an opportunity for a lizard to enter. That's true. The selfishness from the likes of Abure creates an interference from outsiders and backstabbers. Exactly. Exactly. See, people are so unbothered that his house was burnt to the ground. Nobody tweeted about it, nothing, no word. This is how much obedience have lost trust in him, lost complete trust. So Kene, I don't know the guy, apart from his name is Ikenna, I think his first name is Ikenna, and then the last name I can't remember. But I think he just has a group. He might be recognized, amongst other people, but I don't really know him apart from the fact that just now they're saying that he's the obedient general of the obedient movement. Like he says he's just an obedient. So I don't know. You know, I played a video earlier where the guy was listing the problems of Nigeria and how he thinks we can solve it. I think that our conversations should be centering around that more than anything else. How many of you know how this Senegalese thing came to be? Them having presidents and all. I think somebody shared it with us yesterday. I think it was the Young that came to share with us yesterday. So their movement started in 2011. Actually, they were in school and they were both interested in political science or something like that. The prime minister and the president of Senegal, and they planned 20 years ahead what that they wanted to take over Senegal. They contested the election 3 times. They were sharing ideas from that 2011, and then anybody that they felt was shared the same idea like them, they included in the movement. So that's how they galvanized the grassroots. Okay, they kept galvanizing. They went, I think they tried 3 times. I could be wrong. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And then this time they won. Consistency. You no even reach them that 20 years old, because from 2011 to 2024 is only 13 years. Look at what the change that they brought about. Eh? Look at the change that they brought about. The problem I have sometimes is that people in the obedient movement, even within the movement, you are seeing people segregating themselves. It's cringe to watch. They will call themselves the real obedient. There's key holder obedient. There's partner. Hey, God. You see, say that will be the problem. Even within that small movement, for inside that small movement, people are still finding ways to differentiate themselves, to create class. Which one be real obedient? Which one be key holder? Which one be top notch? I don't understand it. If people are all suffering the same thing, everybody's trying to look for solution. We gather the best opinions and the best thoughts. We put it together to push forward. All this is why we don't when we can't go, we're always having problems, because we always find a way to divide ourselves. If we can just stay consistent on the issues at hand and what really, really concerns us, we will move far. All this fighting each other in-house, beating each other up, dragging people because they don't support people that you want them to support, like it's a cult, it's not going to take anybody anywhere. We have big fish to fry. Nigeria is sinking. Don't sink. I don't know how further down Nigeria can sink. I don't know. But I know this is not the way to go about it. We need to be busy talking to the grassroots, bringing people together. If you speak the language, find ways to communicate to your people on the grassroots. Because all of us were all suffering the same thing. Nobody is enjoying life. Nobody is enjoying anything in that country. Everybody is struggling financially. You don't have light, I don't have light. Inflation is affecting you, is affecting me. Bread is expensive. Do people even still eat bread in Nigeria now? We no fit kukuma get breakfast for our culture before. You go farm, you come back, you eat swallow. All this breakfast na foreign concept. You eat vegetable soup. Everything you eat had a lot of vegetable and it was mostly steamed, eh? Or cooked. So I don't know, but I think that we need to come together, find a way to come together, because it's only with unity. Look at what happened in Senegal. Now unity na make them get wetin dem get. Unity. And I hear that as soon as the new president was sworn in, the old one jackpot immediately went to France. They are suspecting, allegedly, that maybe he went to France because he can't handle it. Matter of fact, let me share a video with you guys about this Senegal thing. I'm so happy for them, while I'm also wishing that my country, Nigeria, will borrow sense. We borrow sense and say, okay, yes, let's really, because I don't understand what we're doing. Instead of us to be trying to pull resources together to see how we can get people on board, we are busy dividing ourselves. It's sad to see. Oh, let me play you guys this video.
Guys, the president of Senegal made an appointment that I believe is a complete headache for France right now. Emmanuel Macron's head is burning. Smoke is coming out of it right now. The young president appointed Sonko as his prime minister. Now, this Sonko is supposed to be the running candidate, but France knew that if this guy becomes the president, the reign of France in Senegal will be over automatically. So the government hand to hand with France, they connived together and took him out of the scene by arresting him. Why? Simply because the guy is anti-France activist. A solid Pan-African whose aim and promise is to kick out France out of the land of Senegal. Now, he has been appointed by the new president as a prime minister. Meanwhile, the president himself is also anti-France activist, a Pan-African who is also ready to kick out France. Now, both of them merged together against the oppressor. On top of that, after the young president was sworn in, guess what happened? The former president ran out of the country. Togolese will tell you a at the inauguration ceremony of the young president, a lot of people went there, including our Western puppets in Nigeria and Ghana. You know them. But here is a good news. Ibrahim Traoré, the youngest revolutionaries, the captain of the land of Burkina Faso and of Africa, he issued a statement on Twitter. Let me read it for you. I extend my warm congratulations and those of the valiant Burkinabe people to the new president of the Republic of Senegal, H.E. Bassirou Faye, at the start of his mandate full of hope for the Senegalese people and symbol of a new era for an uninhibited, free and sovereign Africa. I wish him success. From now on, I assure him of my availability and my commitment to work with him, not only to strengthen bilateral relations between our two countries, but also to the renovation of sub-regional and international cooperation for the happiness and higher interests of our respective people. As African hearing this, you need to just like the video, share to people to see what is happening in Africa, and then follow me. The interest of the people comes first. See, let me tell you, those of you who think liberation of Africa is too far, nah, you are wrong. It is happening. Let me break it down for you. We have 54 countries in Africa. 3 of them are now leading the road to liberation. These 3 are Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So 51 countries. These 3 are Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So 51 countries are still in the chains of imperialism. Now Senegal is also breaking the chain, so we are left with 50 countries to go. Out of the 50 countries, we are hoping that South Africa will do the right thing by voting Julius Malema. And we know that if Julius Malema take over, South Africa will also be out of the team. You see, it is now an unstoppable trend that is set. It cannot be stopped by anybody. And then the unity and the progress among these liberated countries will spark the other remaining 40 countries to also start breaking their chains and join their brothers. Then we begin to see the unity from one angle. We are living in a generation where we are witnessing the long-awaited liberation of Africa in progress. Guys, meet me in the comment section. These 3 are Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So,
Now here, yeah, Oriyomi is since his 20s. The Sonko guy, he's been doing it, and also the prime minister and the Senegalese president. They were both students when they came together and started doing grassroots and mobilizing, right? And bringing people. You see that when they're doing their movement, there's no talk of tribe. I mean, well, they have how many tribes? They have major tribes and then they have minor tribes. Nobody's talking about they call them, for me, I don't believe that there's any minor or major tribe, to be honest. This is just BS. There's so many things we need to do in Wiri. That's what has caused the divide, and these people have successfully done it, right? Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time, and they kept trying, they kept failing. I didn't know that they even were involved in election processes. They had failed the first time they ran. I think the second time, I could be wrong, but I think they said they ran 3 times before they finally won it this time around. Eh? This is what Nigeria, this is what we need to be busy doing, not categorizing ourselves, not categorizing and determining who is this and who is that. This is our problem. Where everywhere we find ourselves, we always want to bring class divide. Is that not perpetuating further the sickness that we have? One person does not know it all. Somebody who just came in yesterday may have more information and resources than you, and you think that you've been sitting there for a long time. Nobody is a god. Nobody, you don't expect me to come and be worshiping at your feet because you feel like, oh, you consider yourself top echelon. Some people are key holders, some people are key, some people are battery. It's bullshit. It's just BS. Don't we have big fish to fry? Eh? This newly elected Senegal has been in, yeah. I watched the past videos this morning on my ego. Yeah, I've seen some of those videos too. Amazing. Yeah? They had to form an alliance. Exactly. God will bless you. They had to form an alliance to conquer the power that be. But when we advocated for some people to join forces with Peter Obi, they refused. Exactly, due to their arrogance. That's the problem. And now they're parading. I see a picture of Peter Obi and El Rufai. I'm like, hey, are you kidding me? That one no go work now. Anything other than Peter Obi and Ahmed Dati, I don't want anything to do with it. I wash my hand off. If not be Ahmed Dati, be Peter Obi, vice president, may they forget. May they forget am. I'm not interested. They should keep it. He did a 5 minute inaugural parade. I'm telling you, obedience everywhere. I'm telling you, they are all over Africa. It's not just Nigeria. People are paying attention to what's happening everywhere. People are paying attention to what happened in Nigeria during the NSAS. They watched it. During this election, they watched it. They know. Everybody's gearing up. Everybody in Africa. That's what these people are afraid of. We cannot continue to divide ourselves further and further and further and further. Who go come fight collect the ancestral land? Eh? Who go fight make e even still dey exist? We dey here we dey argue on rubbish and nonsense. Eh? Exactly. Operation no waste time. I'm telling you. You have good ideas. You have things that's going to work for the movement. Look at, even for the obedient movement, it's not only, there are people. I don't belong to any political party. Me person, I no even waiting on, not be now, I be JJC for the Nigerian political scene now. But I'm not saying all those their political parties because it's just bureaucracy. They are all just there for themselves. We saw it play out in LP. They're all just there. And not only, there were people from APC, from PDP, from every party, AAC. There were people that were used to supporting Showore, but eventually they joined Peter Obi. That's how it ought to be. All this sidelining is not going to take us anywhere. I agree there's some people that you can't just get to talk to. You can't even bother to start arguing. I get it. But the ones who share similar values and have resources and knowledge as to how to move us forward so that we can really do this thing, we need to open the door for them to come in, right? Not sideline them, cuss them out, drag them. Nah, we don't do that. We can disagree on issues. We can disagree on, you know what, this is why I I like this person. This is why I don't like this person. This is why I agree with this. This is why I don't agree with this. But not dragging each other by the hair. Remove people when not get hair before you come they pull their hair. Make them turn to baldy. Now that one now we want. We have big fish to fry, but let's focus. So, because Nigeria matter. If we fold hand, if we blink, it will be gone. There are people behind the scenes that are working. They are enjoying this division. They are enjoying the banditry, the kidnapping, the terrorism, everything that's going on in Nigeria. They are slowly milking you. They are milking you. While we are busy fighting each other, I'm Muslim, I'm not Christian. They are collecting. They will now put people together. Oh yeah, people jam your head. They see a place where they say there's something they found, then they go just blow everybody comot for there, use bandits and terrorists take drive dem comot, go take over the land, start to dey drill, dey comot resources. Is this what we want to continue to fold our eyes on what people do? Hey, look at what they've turned Congo into, using your own fellow brothers against themselves. Me, I believe in personality. I don't believe in me too. I believe in the individual, not political party. Political parties are full of bureaucracy. Everybody is there for their pockets. Everybody is there. Chop clean mouth. Eh? Honestly, if there was room for independent candidacy, I'm telling you, if they want that is available, then that's where I'm going to belong. Independent and no independent party. I will just declare myself independent. Anyone wey get sense now go follow. Anyone human being wey get sense for inside now go follow. All this whole idea of it has to be one particular party, where you see how many representatives they came out from Labour Party. How many? Where are they today? Some of them have even debunked to another party. None of them are speaking up with all the issues wey in Nigeria. None of them. And then when you ask people say, they can't really talk because they only just got there. It takes a process. If you know how that comment, that excuse gives me a headache. So what was the point of them getting in then? What was the point of them going in and becoming senators or representatives if they know they won't be able to talk? I don't understand. What's the point of going in? You know you don't have the capacity to talk. You're not going to be able. Then why bother? Why bother? We can't continue like this. So we really need to start thinking, because Nigeria has a plethora of issues, problems, left, right, center problems. Road not safe, air not safe, house no safe. You go to the market, you can't afford to eat. On top of that one, they are bringing tariffs to squeeze the life out of the people. All of them that came on the back of LP because of Peter Obi, where are they now? All their voices, they've all gone numb. They're not saying anything. Is it those same people you want me? LP, I'll not come out. Hell no. People that they've not been able to account for the money that was donated. People sweat. You know how many people donated to the Peter Obi campaign? You now had your position behind, you were collecting money and you were not accounting for it and using it to build how you want make your life dey okay. You're stealing people's sweat to chop, to build mansion that you have never seen in your life, that your family gather together has never seen. People sweat, you no fear not catch you, your conscience not shake, say you don't even know the source of that money. How that person take get that money, you don't know. You collect and you go dey take and dey do personal things. Do you know how demonic that is? How evil that is? And you expect things to go well. The problem of Nigeria, according to that first video I played, is Nigerians. I said it yesterday. We are our own problem. We like to divide. You want to do, I better pass my neighbor. But how are you better than your neighbor? How? Say your generator no dey make pa and you know dey make, that be the difference. crazy. Let's really think about how to solve this problem and take this country back from the hands of these armed robbers. Broad daylight. And stop trying to divide further. The strategy that these people came with is what you guys are, that the same Nigerians are perpetrating. They take and do us. I don't understand. Can't we think of our own? Can't we find solutions to our problem with our own dynamic and unique ways of doing things? Mom, why must it be copied? That they irritate me, I no lie. Ah, even if you wan copy the good things. You know they see the one wey dey work for inside. Copy am, add and join your own. They are now silent, they see the obi. Of course, they rolled on the back of LP. They are now, what are they going to say? When they are collecting cool money, they give them a big car. So no matter how bad the road is, they can drive it, and they have a police escort. Eh? They went there to chop, absolutely. Are you serious? Agbado don decide to meet with local investor. He go squeeze their neck, oh. He go tax the hell out of them. After traveling the world, you no see who give am. Okay, na now dey break. Will you be able to utilize it? Abeg you. Even he himself cannot invest in Nigeria. Oriyomi, I'm telling you. After gallivanting around the world, wèrè ti gallivant tó ti padà wálé kò sí nǹkan mú wá. Kò rí nǹkan kan mú wá. Oh my God. Hey, na wa. My people, Nigeria, solutions. So now we go talk solutions. How can we solve this problem? Eh? How? Because the problem is even the so-called people that have money that are doing business in Nigeria, they take advantage of the people. For instance, bank charges. I've had a bank for God knows. I have an account for God knows how long in Nigeria. Do you know how much they don't charge that account? I don't even have money inside like that. I think I had like maybe some money left, a couple of thousands left in the account. Almost every day. Now how they wonder, say, which one are they charge this account for? I don't understand. They don't charge and charge and charge and not just anything remain again. Nameka Obianeri. Okay, let me find it. Arise News. Was it today? Let me see. When was the interview? Kenneth, latest interview. He was with another guest. Let me see. There's one that was 2 months ago with CBN tax targets FX speculation. Is that the one? It was yesterday. Okay. Let me see. Let me just go to Arise News directly. How did it, how can you guys explain? I just need someone to tell me this, right? Can you guys explain how um The middle was a lady. Okay, there's a lady interviewer. Okay. I'm trying to find it now. Let me see. You said yesterday, Abby. Who? Who? Mm, where I am. Sorry, oh my people. I am looking for it. I don't seem to find it. Are you sure it was Arise News? Um, Naimeka. All I'm seeing here is 2 months ago, 1 month ago, 2 weeks ago, when they're talking about a Jakuta, 3 months ago, 2 months ago. Four weeks ago. Okay. So I see one with him that was 9 hours ago, not even yesterday. Okay, well, yesterday Nigerian time, actually. Okay, I got it now. I got it. I get it. I get it. Get it. Get it. All right, let me bring it to you guys here.
Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has affirmed his commitment to collaborating with the private sector, recognizing its pivotal role in the nation's economy. During a Ramadan fast-breaking gathering with business leaders at the Aso Rock Villa, Tinubu promised to fulfill his mandate and emphasized the importance of working closely with the private sector for economic transformation. State House correspondent Adesua Omorowa reports.
Amidst fine dining and humor,
when you're going to have dinner with Mr. President, you go and wear your best. This is my best.
President Bola Tinubu's Ramadan breaking of fast today sees a distinguished gathering of Nigeria's business elite, creating the perfect ambience for a feast of economic ideas.
There's no driver of this economy other than what you are. If the private sector is not flourishing, there's no growth, there's no prosperity, there's no employment. No matter how flowery the speeches are, it won't grow any mushroom.
Drawing from his visit to the New York Stock Exchange, President Tinubu echoed his conviction that Nigeria can drive economic transformation from within.
We only want you to show your face as a diversified and understanding, bold investors. Not we cannot do it ourselves. I said, we can do it. Nigeria is a self-believer and can always deliver on its own. Whatever, they call us in the past, we know our first name and our last name. Our first name is Spirit, our last name is Kandu.
Tinubu's words weren't just food for thought. They were a call to action, urging collaboration.
You voluntarily elected me. I campaigned for it. I got it. I have no excuse but perform. Say, I can't complain. That is stressful. There are some countries that have failed. There are some countries that have succeeded. But in your time, in our time, in my time, all of us must work together to succeed.
On their part, Nigeria's business titans restated their commitment to supporting the administration's economic programs, offering a banquet of ideas and resources.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Nigerian private sector, we wish to assure you that we are 101% behind you.
Pharmaceutical industry in Nigeria can do better if supported. And we need to have a forum that we can say this is how we can be supported.
I'm encouraged by the few things that you have done since you assumed office, the signals that you have set, and the fact that you are communicating with your people. I mean, we had 8 years of where I thought there was a complete blank, no communication. Okay.
But it's not just about words. Actions speak volumes. Alan Oyema, Chief Executive Officer of Air Peace, emphasizes the importance of tangible results.
The ease of doing business is coming back gradually. I can attest to that. The leadership you appointed in aviation, I know what they did. I know what they did recently. When some civil servants decided to misbehave, they stood their ground and said, this will never happen again. Look at what the High Commission in the UK did. They spread a piece on screens all over London. Everybody felt belonged. You've proved that you are a Nigerian president. You're not a tribal president. My brothers and sisters at the private sector, think of what you can do to support him. The only way you can support him is to go to your businesses and try to see how you can bring down the cost of your products. When you do that, it trickles back to the government and people will continue to believe in the government. I've done my part. God bless you.
As the event concludes, there's a palpable sense of optimism and determination.
There was a lot of apprehension. They were not very happy and very uncertain. But the vibe we're getting right now in the room is totally different from what we got when we first started. The assurances that we've heard in this room is to be honest, very gladdening. And that shows the amount of work that Your Excellency you've done and the amount of belief that the community has in your vision.
Adesua Omorwan, Arise News.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined from our Lagos studio by Dr. Nnemeka Oberiri, who's a development economist and investment banking executive, and Mr. Victor Ndukauba, Deputy Managing Director, AfriInvest West Africa. Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to have you in our Lagos studio. So, Mr. Ndukauba, let me start with you. You have worked for 19 years at AfriInvest, and so I would assume that you quite understand and know the Nigerian economy very well. If you were to describe the economy as it is today in one sentence, how would that be? Or what would you say?
Okay, thank you. The question you asked was if I could describe the Nigerian economy in one sentence, and I said the word for me would be resilient. I think the Nigerian economy is one that continues to demonstrate remarkable resilience in the face of severely daunting economic odds. I think, without having to rehash a lot of the negatives, but, there have been a lot of challenges facing Nigerians and the economy on several fronts, including galloping inflation, the escalating exchange rate and what it means for cost of doing business and all of that. And then if you layer on some of the challenges around talent migration, or what is locally known as JAPA, it also has impacted, access to talent in order to make jobs effective. I think that is how I would describe the economy.
Yes, thank you. So let's go to Mr. Oberiri. I hope I'm pronouncing it very well. So, I mean, like he has mentioned there are a couple of problems or issues that we have in the economy. There's inadequate infrastructure, there are obstacles to investments, lack of confidence in the currency, limited foreign exchange capacity, tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade. It's a lot. And so where do we start with in trying to deal with each and every one of these items? And what can we work on quickly, in your view?
Most of the issues you mentioned and proclaimed as challenges are symptomatic manifestations that does not address the root cause of the problems. I've always said it, Nigeria is a country that ticks the right boxes to become one of the top 10 biggest economies in the whole world within the next 10 years if we fix the foundational issues. High inflation rates, insecurity, corruption, all that we have listed as the problems of Nigeria are symptoms of the root problem, which is the physical deformities, the constitutional deformities that we need to fix. At the root of our problem are two twin demons, the demons of corruption and the demons of insecurity. And these demons are offsprings of those constitutional and physical deformities that we need to fix. I say it to anybody who cares to listen. Nigeria is one country that is so blessed by God. We have the best of natural resources that God has endowed mankind with. We have the most resilient human beings that live on planet Earth. All that we have lacked over the last 24 years is the right leadership to spur and release the latent potentials in this country. And just like Mr. President said when he invited the private sector to breakfast with him, and I've always said it, what we owe ourselves in this country is the truth and nothing but the truth. The truth you know and proclaim and execute will set you free and set you free abundantly. The private sector has the best role to play in fixing Nigeria. And by fixing Nigeria, we must be very honest and upfront with Mr. President. Time will not permit us, like I said, across the whole sectors of Nigeria, we can build an economy that can easily produce everything we consume here and export nothing less than $200 billion worth of goods and services, both oil and non-oil. We did it between 1960 to 1966. We can do it again, but we need to fix the foundation. And what are the fundamental problems? We need to fix the constitutional, the physical, the institutional, and the governance deformities that we currently have. The foundation is faulty, and if the foundation is not fixed, even if you bring an angel to govern this country, it will still stumble and fumble. So when Mr. President asked the private sector to support, what he practically is saying is that look me in the eyes, tell me the truth, provide the template, provide the guide, set the pace, and I will follow. And I've always said it, the role of government is to provide policies, to provide program directions. And to provide policy and program directions, the private sector must be very upfront and honest. We must put Nigeria before our selfish and private interests.
Okay.
And when we do this, this country will become a prosperous country for each and every one of us.
Okay, Mr. Antekoba, so he has mentioned some valid points, or he has made some valid points. He talked about the little issues we have here and there, and also right leadership. Do you believe that we have the right leadership today in order to solve some of those problems? I mean, the government has also taken some steps, so like the CBN, raising the interest rate and a couple of other things. Are they in the right direction?
Thank you for that question. I think the current administration has demonstrated to a large degree a commitment to righting the ship of state. You did mention just now the central bank, and I would say that some of the recent reforms within the central bank are geared towards essentially restoring direction to what was essentially a ship that was headed to the rocks. But I must also say that be those changes as they may, and I'm talking about some of the recent reforms to FX, some of the changes to the bank policy rate that is basically aimed at bringing down inflation, those monetary measures are essentially a short-term fix. my co-panelist has said that there has to be several, things to be done. I think on the fiscal side, there needs to be support for the work the central bank is doing to ensure that these changes and the progress we're all anticipating or hoping for essentially become sustainable. I'll start with on the revenue side, we'll look at oil output. So some of the challenges around output, which stems from both a lack of investment over the years, as well as criminal activities around theft and brigandage, need to be frontally addressed. On the cost side, we've got to look at our costs again. Now, some of those changes that are required there are essentially hard-coded by the Constitution. So when we talk about things, for example, like governance and the structure of governance, there isn't any silver bullet or a single paintbrush that the executive can just, swing that would ultimately cure all. But I think there has to be some effort to demonstrate commitment and a resolution by the administration to show that, look, not only are we committed to fixing the economy, we are also going to lead from the front. I think those are some of the things we need to start seeing.
Okay, so from all you are saying, it means that the private sector, yes, is very important, as the president has said. However, a lot lies on the government. Mr. Obereri, I go back to you when you talk about the constitutional problems, the governance issues, the insecurity. These are major items to be dealt with. Do you have confidence that this is going to happen in this administration? Because in the last administration, the past 8 years, much of it wasn't touched, much of these items that we're discussing. Is this going to happen?
One of the reasons and one of the ways the government can rekindle confidence in the people is to provide through actions, far-sweeping changes and reforms that will show the people that they really mean business and they want to have a departure from the past. When a team is not performing, when a club is not performing, and there's a new manager, there is a new coach, there's new leadership. If the old guard and old brigade have not performed, what you do is you sweepingly remove the old guard and you bring in new personnel and new structures to enable you succeed. The past 8 years has been one of the worst in the history of Nigeria. We are where we are today because of the level of impunity and brigandage that happened over the last 8 years. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are having, on an annual basis, loss of our crude oil resources to the tune of about $22 billion annually to thefts. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we wasted $34 billion, 16 trillion naira in fair turnaround maintenance programs and subsidy payments on over bloated consumption and import figures on subsidized petroleum products. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, Auditor General of Nigeria told us 107 million barrels of crude oil got lost, unaccounted for. One would have expected a government that preached rekindled hope. The first thing you will have done is when you come into the audience table that is thinking, you sweep away every of the members and the players of the old guard and then begin to rebuild. Like I said, Nigeria is a country that takes the right bosses. I give you an example. 85 to 90% of our foreign exchange revenue comes from the oil and gas sector. 1970, Petrobras was bettered. What did the Brazilian government do? They discovered the fact that private sector efficiency will help them to build confidence. They divested their holding from Petrobras to 28.5% and brought in private sector investors. In a period of 50 years, they built a company that has assets of $174 billion, annual profit of $36 billion, revenue of $121 billion, compared to our NNPC that is struggling on an asset base of about $58 to $60 billion. What the federal government of Nigeria should do, that should be a sweeping change. You cannot inherit a corrupt structure and you keep it. Let there be a sweeping institutional and personnel overhaul. Bring in transparency and the urgent needed transformation. Federal government as a matter of urgency. If we want to build trust in Nigeria, borrow leave from Petrobras and Aramco. Divest federal government shareholding in NNPC by 60%. That will unlock at least about $38 billion. Offer new issues, new shares. Let NNPC become truly a private company with private shareholding that is more than what the public sector owns. like the LLNG. If you do an offer for sale of 60% of your shares and do a new issue of, say, 40%, we will unlock into our federation account over $55 billion and bring in the needed private sector efficiency that will unlock $50 billion annual capital investment in that sector. And when you do this, people will know that we are serious. $200 billion annually. Private sector should lead. We need reforms, constitutional, physical, institutional reforms. And to the rest of Nigeria, I loved his speech today before the private sector. But he need to go all the hog. I keep on asking this question. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that we had oil prices going to $90 per barrel, and yet we are hemorrhaging. It never happened. We used to have output of 2.5 million barrels in 2010, 2011, and 2012. What happened to those outputs? Let there be a total cleansing from the Petroleum Ministry to the NNPC to the NNPRA. All the old gas that were there under the Buhari regime should not have any business under the Tinubu regime.
Right. Bring
in new frontiers, new persons, new structures, and let us rebuild this economy. You cannot continue to struggle with the old guard who was part of the problems over the last 8 years.
Yes, very good point. Great points. Mr. Ndekauba, he has mentioned something that is very important: stolen oil and other types of fraud going on or has been going on in Nigeria. And he says we need sweeping change. A lot of people will agree with him. In your view, does this government have the credibility to go through with that change?
I think if there's anything the Bola Tinubu administration has demonstrated since inception, is the fact that there is courage to take hard decisions. I think even if we're just all reeling from the announcements on tariff adjustments, we are all evidently, visible to some of the things that have happened regarding changes in the petroleum sector, for example, the devaluation that happened there, the devaluation of the currency. So I think if there's any administration that had the capacity to take those hard decisions, it is the Bola Tinubu-led administration. And I think, with all respect to that, to the government, I believe that whatever changes are required, there has been demonstrated courage to do what needs to be done. What obviously, in my view, should happen is, first of all, an assessment of where exactly we are. There are very fundamental questions that Dr. Berry has asked around, for example, output, going back to as recently as 2014, 10 years ago, and how the output has cratered quite tremendously. What exactly happened? Is it a combination or example of a disinvestment into the oil industry? Or can we perhaps look at oil theft? And to what degree? How much of the decline in output is as a result of oil theft? What is the nature of the theft? What can we do to essentially stop the leakages and restore confidence? I believe the administration has the capacity to take the right decisions, but those actions are essentially left to be seen.
Mr. Bereri, let's go back to sometime last year when the president, I think it was in October, he talked about a Nigerian economy that can be about $1 trillion by 2026 and $3 trillion by the end of a decade. Do you see that happening? Is that possible? And if it occurs, what does that even look like? What are the characteristics of such an economy?
Yes, it's very, very possible. When Mr. President mentioned that we can build a $1 trillion economy, we can actually build a $2 trillion economy within the next 10, 15 years. I want us to look back to history. As at 1965, Nigeria was way ahead of South Korea, way ahead of Singapore, way ahead of Indonesia. Today, the South Korean economy is about $1.6 trillion size, and we have the potentials to surpass them. And that is where the private sector comes in, and that is where leadership comes to play. I give you an example. Look at Abia State. They have a new governor who is very focused, Dr. Alex. I'm from Imo, I'm not from Abia State, so I'm not trying to blow the trumpet of a governor who is not my governor, but I can give you an example of what the man is doing. Today, he appointed mayors who are not like the ordinary local government chairmen, accomplished men from the private sector. Some of them accomplished in their private sector roles before appointing them as mayors. As I'm talking to you today, there are a lot of private sector investments going into Abia State, which I know. As I'm talking to you, there are a group of investors that are already planning within the next 1 year to do about 5,000 greenhouse farm estates in Abia State that can give about $64 billion revenue within the next 1 year. As I'm talking to you, there are private sector investments that are going into Abia State to set up cocoa plantations, 30 hectares in each of the 184 electoral wards. Private sector led, that will unlock over 69 billion naira annually into Abia economy within the next 3 years. As I'm talking to you, there are some group of investors who are already planning to set up an MSME finance bank to the tune of about $5 million. This is something I know. I'm not from Abia State, but I'm telling you the boss and the kind of things, because there is leadership in place, an inspired leader who is willing to provide security, provide guidelines. And this thing can be replicated across the systems. You know, there is this fixation with the federal government of Nigeria. We need to look at the state governors and tax them. There is no state in Nigeria that cannot build, honestly, a $1 billion revenue economy every year. There is no state in Nigeria that cannot build up their GDP to about $30 billion if they look inward. But the truth is, and we want to play with the governors beyond the presidency, ask for help. Nobody knows it all. In the Bible, we saw a Pharaoh who did not remember even his own dream. He sought for help from a 30-year-old Hebrew boy who not only told him his vision, his manifesto, but helped him to interpret and execute it. In Babylon, we saw a mighty king who sought for the wisdom of 5 young men, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they built great empires. The governors should look beyond the fact and jackal locator and seek help. Nigeria is so blessed with the best of human capital that can help us grow this economy. We can fix the insecurity, we can fix it, but within the short term, if a governor seeks help, there are helps available. I was privileged in 2019 to speak at the PDP Governors Forum. In the North alone, from the date palm plantation, they can unlock an economy that can give them $12.5 billion revenue over the next 50 years annually by 2029. These things are not skyrocket science. Netherlands, with a landmass of 41,000 square kilometers, 14,000 square kilometers of land, arable land, is doing almost about $110 billion revenue from agro exports. Nigeria can do times 2 of that.
Okay.
But we need to be very honest with ourselves. We need to seek help and seek good counsels. Ms.
Andikawaba, so it's a good way, a good place to talk about investment. We need investment to have all of this thing happen in Nigeria. A lot of people talk about foreign investment. You know, every government sings about foreign investment, but the local investment is as important as well. Don't you think so? Briefly.
In fact, with all sense of responsibility, the answer is yes. We often talk about, you know, foreign investment, and the truth is, it is important to have foreign investment. But what always leads foreign investment is local investment. You know, the foreign investors cannot come into your economy and, you know, cast their dollars blindly or cast their net blindly. They need to be led, and they are usually led by local partners, local investors who show the direction as to how and, you know, where they see the opportunities. I think that the aspirations that the Bola Tinubu administration has set by you know, tabling this ambition of $1 trillion economy in 2 years, or a $3 trillion economy by 2030, is one that, with all due respect, is rather ambitious. But sometimes you need to shoot for the moon. You know, shoot for something really out of your range so that you can achieve something truly remarkable. We can actually drive local investments into local areas of expertise and you know, value creation. I think one of the areas, and you know, my co-panelists have spoken very clearly about this, is getting the sub-nationals to begin to imagine and envision an economy that is not dependent on revenue allocation and sharing. You know, by looking at some of the local areas of, you know, value expertise, looking at the areas where there's you know, significant you know, resource blessings and ambience and you know, overages or excesses, as it were, they can begin to tap into that. So between agriculture, you know, local manufacturing, looking at areas of, you know, looking at their human capital and taking deliberate efforts to envision and create the enabling environment to attract initially domestic capital from within their local domestic areas, and then from further afield in the country, you can then begin to see the foreign investors would essentially follow those local investors to then also co-invest in those areas, from agriculture to mining to housing, and so many other areas. I think one of the things that clearly we need to see, however, is infrastructure investment. We have to begin to unlock infrastructure. It is one area that presents what I like to call a structural impediment to growth. Whatever it is we want to produce, whatever economic activity you want to see, there are certain critical infrastructure that are required to enable those. From transport infrastructure to power infrastructure, we have to begin to think big and creatively. Thankfully, we've seen some reforms, for example, to the laws that essentially govern how power is generated and sold and distributed in the country. That law has now essentially created room for states to also, in addition to whatever the federal government is doing, attract investment into electricity generation and distribution, at least at the captive or embedded level. And I think that is something we have to begin to see as well, because power is a critical element of productive activities.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
My people, that was a great interview. Thank you, Kene, for that. That was actually a great interview. Great insight as well. Private sector is the bedrock of every economical development and growth. Nigerian leaders need to understand this. However, we all we see in Nigeria is over-bloated ministries and parastatals and government of friends, family and relatives. That's what we have, right? And Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. Hey, if you were able to lie for me while I was occupying a position, you get a position. You get a position for lying. You get a position for preventing what I could have been punished for. You get a now. That's how they did. That's how they shared their position. It's crazy. Imagine a country that is spending over 60% of her budget on recurrent expenditures. Yep, exactly. They borrow money to pay. They are using your money to do kalu in front of your eyes. They will collect it unapologetically. They don't care. Ali Baba and the 48 thieves. Oh my God. We need to count them and add them after Ali Baba. Once you reach Nigeria number of thieves, e go increase. I'm telling you. We need to now 48 them, be true. Excuse me. Are less functional. And again, they have offices that are not necessary. Which one is SSSA? You have like 30 personal assistant to one person. Which work they do? Driver sef go get oga for driver. Hey God, every person dey run in this thing in one ministry like say na a government on im own. I never see. baby step of pain. I wan see we dey. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Is that they will be lying, vomiting nonsense with straight face. Exactly. See wetin Abia dey do. I'm telling you, Abia is a pace setter, blazing the trail for others to follow. Dem no go see that one. Dem no go see that one imitate. No, dem no go see. Dem do as if dem no dey see am now. Only one man out of how many states na im dey perform. If to say na me, I go dey shame. I go say, you know what? Let me try and catch up. These people are ridiculous. Abi na 48 thieves. They reach 48. Me wan know the exact number so that we go dey attach am to the name. Even the chief driver has a driver. Egbami. Exactly. Can you imagine? Eh? One rep, oh, not be president, not be anything. See the short inaugural speech when the governor or when the president of Senegal give. Inauguration not last past 1 hour because e get work to do. Some people go do am, the event go be the whole day, following the 2 days straight. Eh? Many people no dey talk say we get elites for Nigeria. I hear people say, oh, we have a middle class has been eroded. There's no more middle class in Nigeria. Those so-called elites have climbed, they rode on the back of the poor. They squeeze. Have you checked your bank statements in Nigeria to see how much they charge you? That's how, and then, oh no, talk of the one that the CBN governor will give them. They will give them dollar, it gets to their hand first. They will now keep their own and then sell the rest to other people to make profit off of it and bring it to them. This is how these people make money. Don't you hear them talk? These people they are visionless people. Have you heard them speak? When they're talking about elites, you listen to them, you yourself will be like, oh my God, there's a reason why this person is called. This one, oh, I have a problem with the word elite in the first place. I really do. I don't personally, this is my own opinion, unpopular one. I don't believe anyone is an elite. Lie. There's no one that is an elite. The difference between you and the next person is 6 feet under. That's it. Every day is a blessing. It's 6 feet. If you like, get all the money for the world, get for backyard, get for front, get for side, get all around you. At the end of the day, when death comes, they consider, go say, oh, this person is a elite, oh, this person has like 5 billion, 500 trillion inside the bank account, let me leave him and pass. E no dey. The same way when the poor man wan die, there's no discrimination. So all these words when they come up with elites, this one, BS, cock and bull story, na im be. The question is, what have those so-called elite, let me call them elite, they are not elite, elite, what have those so-called elite, what value have they brought to their people? How have they effected the changes in their communities? What have they done to change the narrative in their villages? Make we even leave community first, village. If you go all these people village, you no go see road pass, you no go see water drink. The lifespan of the people in the villages, because there's no hospital, they reach anything. Do you see them doing anything? Imagine if all the elite, all of them, they decide, okay, let's see what we can do here. Bring hospitals, right? Build hospitals and invest in good doctors that will come and be treating your people. Imagine the game change that these people will bring about. Imagine. But do you hear them talking about it? They don't talk about human capital. They don't talk about investing in the people. They don't. They only do things where they will be seen so that they can be noted. They want to appeal to palm-colored people. That's all they care about. It's the same mindset with all these artists scrambling for Grammy Awards, scrambling for... What are you scrambling for other people's awards for? Why don't you create your own to be very attractive so that people will come? With the big artists we have in Nigeria, if they were forward-thinking and visionary people, they will be thinking about creating their own way of recognizing their own artists and make it admirable. No, they won't do it. Instead, everybody put eye outside. Oloju kokoro. Never satisfied with what you have. Always looking at the other one because you feel like na their own better pass. The Grammy Award, they tell you how much that Grammy when they give you, they tell you how much it be. It's next to nothing. Now people they manufacture and your paint am gold give you now. That's it. They shout. The mindset not be here. So when people they talk about elite, I'm like, please, who are they? Where are they? Who be that? Who be that? No value, no change, no No transformation, nothing, no vision. Sit down and have conversations with these people. Sit down. You will not be motivated in any way. All they do is show off their lifestyles, big houses. When one day they'll sleep, they no wake up. That's all they do. No impact on the lives of the people. The real wealth is in people, it's not in material things, it's not in paper money. There are people who don't have paper money, but the influence, the lives they've affected is speaking for them forever. If they get children now, someone like Peter Obi now, titi lai, unless somebody come in maybe like 100 million generation, e come by mistake go talk rubbish, or e go remove Peter Obi name, which I doubt it will ever happen, right? Peter Obi children no go, even if they say by mistake, maybe history mistake comot im name, whatever, but e good, the good when e do, the lies when e touch go continue to speak for am long, millions of years after he's gone. People go just see im children, anything that comes from him, they go just gather around them. They no go know, the children no go know why they dey experience this level of favor. They no go understand, they no go know say their papa don sow better seed for ground for them. Abeg, more na all the elite people, make dem rest, make dem no dey talk again. All they do is come and make life worse. You go where they stay now. Next to where they live, there's one woman, an old woman, or a family that's struggling to eat. Do they pay attention to those people? They don't care. They don't care. Elites of visionless elites, visionless, no plan for the future, nada. All they do is buy the most expensive car, buy the most expensive aircraft, go and rent the most expensive house in the foreign land that the palm color people built, go and live in the oldest cabin that nobody else has seen. No vision, none whatsoever. They will not be telling you they are doing giveaway, they are doing charitable organization. Who the charity help? Who did it help? We know how they got their wealth. The ones wey they dash oil block today, the ones wey be say maybe they do favor for one criminal, the person go pay them off dey. The ones wey they use take launder money dey. You listen to your elites, some of them brainless people. They no get sense. If they talk, you go even see the dullness in them. Abeg, I call am again. This is why I started early, because I got things to do. Exactly, I'm telling you, how they take dey pay bank charges. People wey no get bank. They were talking about NIN. I don't know, has anybody done their NIN in America, in overseas or wherever you are? Is it NIN they call it now, whatever, some number that you have to get? Me, I don't do anything though, because apparently the people, there were frauds, there were scammers involved in it. They started taking people's information. Hey, I hear that one. Now suffering, sit down back, I no fit shout. Remember when we had open door challenge inspired by, I think, information minister PA? I don't remember that too. Which one is open door challenge? Open door challenge so that people will come and be stealing. Kenny, I don't understand it. Exactly, empty-headed elites. I'm telling you, it exposed them big time. It exposed them all the way. Many of the so-called establishment, many of them that we thought people used to look up to and be carrying. Me anyway, I've never been a respecter of elites. I've never. You would like be the biggest artist, be whoever you think you are. I have zero until I see the impact you're having on the lives of the people around you, right? Then I will consider, I will look. It is the people that are making impact that I'm drawn to. I'm not drawn to people who just have money. You don't know how they got the money. You don't know. You cannot go and dig and find out how they got the money. You'll be hearing one story of how maybe their father was once pushing white powder, or one government came and gave them like oil block. Another one, contract money that was supposed to be meant for a whole state or a region. They pocket am. That's how they make. God forbid. I have zero respect for people like that. Oh, you did your name? I heard that there were scammers that got to it. Okay. Oh, now what's the consequence if you don't do your name? I want to know, because me, I haven't done jack. What's the consequence? Is there any consequence? Can somebody do it at any time? Maybe if I find myself in Nigeria magically, can I do it? Okay, I'll check my email. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining me. Let me see. Do you want me to play this video? Open door for person wey dey open door. Oh my God, I just saw it now, Kini. Hey, what a country. God forbid. Yeah. Open door for person wey dey open door. My goodness. Hey, na im work be that. Then we go collect salary. To fear kwa. To fear. God forbid. I have zero respect. Elites, whatever name they're called, zero. No impact on the lives of the people, no impact on their communities, no impact on their villages. In fact, relatives, their family relatives, if those ones don't come and beg them, please, sir, I've not eaten. I don't have money for school fees. My children are starving. I've been suffering. This one is suffering. There's one illness. You will see them. They will queue up in front of this so-called elite's house, waiting for their turn. This is what these people want. There's zero impact. Now tell me, this is why I say they lack vision. No vision. Most of these people have zero vision. There's not empty heads, nothing there inside. Because any smart person would have thought, instead of these people coming to line up in front of my door every day, let me go to the community, build help centers for them, help them create businesses. Whoever wants to sell garri, I give you starting money to go and sell garri. Whoever wants to go and sell beans, I give you starting money, go and sell beans, so that you will see money. Instead of you coming to meet me every day, that money is offered. And then there's no water in the community. Gather money, build borehole, put water for your people, make them they see water drink. Some people dey when they don't fit afford to go school because maybe their parents, maybe no source of income whatsoever. You find out what the parents can do. If not, they sell this thing, they sell food for front of their, you build something, give them the opportunity, empower them. You go tell them, say, this money that they give you, you go pay me. I want you to be able to double this and pay me with so and so. If I thought you want to, maybe billing go there involved, they say, okay, 5% interest, pay me back once you've been able to double your income. Nothing like that. Okay, the children that are going to school, okay, you are going to school, all right, you will give them the one if you afford to give free education to, you give free education to, but you empower them to utilize the skill that they have. If they don't have, you give them the opportunity to go and learn a skill. Now tailoring, whatever it is, farming, plaiting of hair, whatever, barbing hair, they use that one, say they support themselves with pocket money for school. No, you want to tell me none of them think about it like that? None of them. None of them, they think, say, you know what? Instead of me having to give them all these things, every time I'm sourcing, every time I'm giving, you really empower an entire group. Because when you do that, other people are watching you. When they get an opportunity too, they might not even have as much money as you have. They would also empower other people. That is how you transform your community. Look at Igbo, for instance, the Igbo, what's it called? That system that they have. Is it one boy they call it, where they come, you learn the trade, you go and open your own. That is how you cure poor. Why do you think there's so many wealthy Igbo people? Nigerians not there. Why do you think there's so many wealthy? That's what they do. They empower each other. You can empower, you can even clean up the system in such a way it's not a formal thing, right? You make it formal, like a certification thing. Why be say the elites, none of them they think along those lines? Why? Sawdust na full their brain. Abeg Momofia, we never knew our so-called confessor was part of it. I'm telling you, Oriyomi, hey, professor is Sonu, God forbid, white hair for nothing. You need NIN for bank account or you lose your account, I think. Make dem take the account. Is the account benefiting me? No. So in the future, when my daddy, our daddy that daddy their daddy, if he come, I go come think am. Hey, Bibi, how now? Long time, sis. Thank you for stopping by. Wow, thank you. Great to see you. All right, listen. Oh, you'll be listening today. Yeah, no worries at all. Thanks for stopping by. It is. Eh? Exactly. Open door for himself. Somebody had to come down from their car. Somebody had to walk over to open. It's maddening. And somebody will collect salary on top of that. People will now come and be talking about elite. Elite my foot. Elite my stinky my elite my foot. These people are crazy, taking people for a ride, riding on top of the people to get to where they are. Without NIN, you'll no longer be able to renew your passport, your account might not work, and your Nigerian phone number. I no get Nigerian phone number. My account, they don't collect all these the few thousand so a day before, they don't collect all, they don't scrape am. Right? Do I want to renew my Nigerian passport now? Do I really want to do that? That's the thing. My Nigerian passport has expired. I never get chance, so I need NIN to renew the passport. That's the only thing that will make me go and renew it. That's the only thing. Is there a deadline to renew it? Do you guys know if there's a deadline to renewing this NIN thing? Or, I mean, to getting this, because I don't have it. Is there a deadline? Because I don't want to deal with Nigerian visa, like visa office, never, nothing. I ain't gonna do that. Yeah, so Riomi, thank you. Help me tell them to like. Oh. Okay, no deadline. Okay, all right. Because somebody was saying you have to do it by so time, by end of April or something like that. Okay, it's continuous. All right, so I will find the office and go and do, maybe just because of the passport, nothing else. Because they've eroded all the money in my account anyway, the one that I left. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Guys, let me shut down today. I came here intentionally early so that we can have a chance to talk about this. But please, like on your way out. It's just like PVC. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, just like PVC. All right. Okay. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Oriyomi, Oshe Gon, Oshe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your super chat. Thank you for the encouragement. Kene, thank you for your consistency and your support. I don't take you for granted, guys. BB, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Everyone that was able to stop to come in, I thank you. Well, see, it depends on how it goes. I may come back later on, but for now, I'll say have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you on my next one. Cheers. Bye.